Hello everyone, I'm Sara Paige. I'm a yoga instructor at Scottsdale Club SAR, and I'm bringing you a short yoga practice today. So we're going to do a little bit of a warm-up, some gentle flowing movements with our breath, and then we'll start to cool things down with a little bit of close to the floor stretching. So let's begin standing up on our 2 feet in just a natural stance. In yoga, we call this Tadasana or mountain pose. If it helps you to close your eyes right now and bring your attention inside your body, please do that. Be aware of the points of contact between your feet and the earth. In your mind's eye, visualize the natural curves of your spine. Put a light seal on your lips and breathe through your nose if possible. Enjoy a softness behind your eyes. Release any unnecessary holding or gripping around your jaw, your neck, and your shoulders. During this practice, I invite you to challenge yourself when it feels appropriate, or back off and give yourself time throughout the practice. And rest when you like. Take care of yourself and have fun. If your eyes are closed, go ahead and open your eyes now, and we'll just start with a gentle neck movement. Tipping your right ear towards your right shoulder, feeling a little bit of a stretch on the left side of your neck. Let's stay in a pain-free zone today. Keep your ear resting towards your right shoulder and then swivel your chin down as if you were peeking over your shoulder. Now swivel your chin up and towards the left. You can even follow that with your eyes. Let's go back and forth one more time. Down and to the right, up and to the left, and then find neutral. Let's go the other way. Left ear tipping towards the left shoulder, but keep that left shoulder soft and relaxed. Sometimes there's a tendency to pull the shoulder up to meet the ear. And then notice what you're feeling along the right side of your neck. Working to keep your spine straight and upright. Now let's swivel down and to the left. Let your eyes follow. And up and to the right. Twice more. Nice and easy. We'll move back into that neutral stance. Crown of head extending straight up vertical, maybe just a slight tuck of your chin. Let's work on our wrists and our hands next. There's a lot of yoga poses where we put our weight in our hands, and sometimes our wrists just might feel a little uncomfortable with that, so this is going to help. Stretch your arms out in front of you at about shoulder height and spread out your fingers like starfish. Now make fists nice and strong, put your thumb on top and drop your knuckles down. Let's go back to the starfish. Make more wrinkles in the front of your wrist. Fists, drop the knuckles down. Let's move with a little bit more rhythm, back and forth between these movements. Notice if you see or sense any activation in your forearms as you do these 2 movements. Those muscles in your forearms are a support system to your wrists during your yoga practice. Let's do 5 more. Last 2. Last 1. And then take a little rest. Maybe you shake it out slightly. Moving on to our shoulders. Let's just reach the arms straight out to the side, palms facing the sky. Biceps rotating upward towards the ceiling. With one arm, and it doesn't matter which one you start with, internally rotate that upper arm bone. Now switch. This is also just a little bit of yoga for your brain as you ask your arms to do independent things. Let's do a few more like this. One arm internally rotating as the other one rolls the other way. Now take your arms up overhead to a wide V with your palms facing inward. As you exhale your breath, pull your elbows down by your sides as if you were trying to tuck them behind your body. Two more like that. Inhale to reach up, exhale to pull down. One last. Reach and pull. Palms together at your heart now. Work your forearms so that they're parallel to the horizon. Try to press your palms together pretty firmly, and then fingers will press against one another. All four fingertips of the left hand pushing the right fingers back, and vice versa. Twice more. Excellent. Okay, so for our next task, we're going to work on a little bit of a hip hinge, which we do a lot in yoga with forward folds. And let's bring our feet to maybe just a little wider than the hips. You can keep your toes pointing straight forward. Some of us like to turn the toes out a little bit. And then drop your seat down and back just like you would to sit in a chair, and let your chest move forward slightly and rest your forearms on your legs. Try to put a lot of weight in your heels here, maybe so much that you could lift and flare your toes, and then just let your toes relax. You probably have done cat-cow before, but you maybe have never done cat-cow from this position. So let's try it out. Reach your tailbone back and up as you draw your sternum forward and flick your gaze up and forward. And then create a dome in your back. Round as you coil in the front of your spine. Look down or back with your gaze. And then establish a rhythm and a pace that feels about right for you today. You could even sync up this movement with your breathing pattern. Inhale, chest up, tail back. Exhale, tuck and round. Let's do two more. Thighs might be starting to burn a little bit, get a little tired. That's good work. Remember, you can rest whenever you like. This is our last one. And then we'll take this into a dangling position. Let your hips lift and allow your spine to cascade over your thighs. Take a nod, yes and no with your head, relaxing away any unnecessary holding around your neck or shoulders. Walk your fingertips out forward ahead of your toes quite a ways. Bend your knees and lower your seat a little bit. Let's try lifting the hips now and letting the arms hang. Walk the fingertips out, stretch through your sides, lower your seat. And then one more time, just that passive dangling. Bring your palms towards your mat. Step back to a tabletop position. Walk your hands off to the right on a diagonal so you feel a little bit longer on this left side and a little bit of a crunch on the right side. Cat-cow from here now. Chest up, tail up, and then drop and round. One more on this side. Create spine extension like a back bend, and then create your spinal flexion like a core crunch. Same thing with your hands off on a diagonal to the left. 2 times we'll go. Inhale to lift up. Exhale, strong front core, flex and dome. One more time. Now bring yourself back to a regular tabletop and come down onto your forearms. We'll give the wrist just a little bit of a break. Flip your palms up and just shift yourself forward and back. That was a little bit of a tongue twister. Rock your hips back and then guide your hips forward. 2 more times. Rock it back. Pull yourself forward. Last one. Feel your lats stretch. Get a little longer here. And then guide yourself forward. Turn your palms to face your mat, step your toes back and come to a Sphinx pose. Stretch your thighs back away from your hips, firm up your legs, press the tops of your feet down, draw your chest up and forward through your arm bones. Find a sense of your arms trying to pull back as you lift your chest forward, expanding broadly through the front of your heart, your collarbones, and then lower yourself all the way to your mat. Bring your fingertips back beside your chest, tuck your toes, push the floor away, come back to that tabletop position. On this round of tabletop, we'll step the right toes back and push and pull ourselves into a little bit of an ankle and calf stretch. Your left hand will stay down as part of your foundation. Actually, let's change that. Right leg's gonna stay back, right hand's gonna stay down as part of your foundation as you let the left arm open and lift and turn your chest open to the left side of your mat. Can you get that back leg any straighter? One more breath here. And then return. Reset tabletop, all fours. Left toes are gonna step back as you push and pull. So not just pushing from the left toes, but also thinking of pulling with your arms as your heel drives forward. Find the pause. Upper body rotation to the right now. Think of lengthening your spine as you twist. Dragging your left shoulder down as if you could tuck your shoulder blade into your back pocket. And then unravel your spine. Let's take a little rest. This could be a child's pose or just a simple kneeling pose back on your heels, if that's okay on your knees. Let's connect to our breathing. Notice how things may have changed already this early in the practice. Connect to a sense of 360-degree breathing all throughout your core cylinder. Breathe into your back ribs. Expand into the sides of your waistline and the sides of your ribs. Keep that breath nice and low, chest quiet, shoulders soft. From your child's pose or kneeling position, step your right foot out in front of you. And then arrange your left knee about under your hip. You can add some padding under your left knee or shin if that's helpful for you. Stretch your arms out in front. Bring yourself into a little bit of a tuck through your pelvis. Make a rowing motion with your right arm and open your chest to the right. That right arm can also reach back and maybe your eyes follow your right thumb. Bring yourself back to that forward reach, and then let's go arms overhead, creating a really long line from your left knee all the way through your left fingertips. Right arm down, side bend over to your right side. Back to a vertical spine. As you bring your left hand down to the ground or a yoga block, tuck your left toes under and lift your left knee. Continue to twist open to the right with your chest. Unravel your spine once again. Step back to a tabletop position. And then child's pose or a kneeling pose. Reconnect to breath. Sounds and sensation of breath. Trying to create some equal pressure throughout your core cylinder when you breathe. Rise up out of that kneeling position, step your left foot out in front of you. Find a neutral pelvic position. Arms will start out front. And on this one, let's notice if we can scissor the legs together a little bit, as if you were trying to create a wrinkle in your mat between your front and your back leg. Imagine your left arm was pulling back a bowstring. Use that energy to continue to open your chest left, and then reach your left hand back. Maybe the eyes follow. Reach back to the center, vertical overhead with your arms. Long and strong line from right fingertips all the way down to your right knee. Left arm relaxes, side stretch to your left. Back to neutral. Right hand down, left toes will tuck now. You can lift your back knee and continue to spin your chest open to the left, runner's twisting. Two hands to the floor. You could either step back to a strong plank position, or you could keep your knees grounded. And just a few breaths here. And once you've had enough of that, let's go downward dog. Hips reach high. Feel free to find some stillness here, or maybe your body is craving just a little bit of movement. If so, you could walk your dog. Let's lift both heels as high as they'll go and swivel so that your heels drop to the right along with your hips. Get a little longer on your left side. Keep what you have. Pull your heart forward so that your arms stay in plank and your hips keep twisting to the right. Downward facing dog, regular style. Lift your heels. Pivot so that they go to the left. Let your hips twist a little to the left. Try to keep your shoulders and chest in a downward dog. Glide forward to a plank. Once again, raise your hips and find your down dog. Bring your right knee down towards the center of your mat and swivel your right leg so your toes point behind you. Modified side plank. Reaching in opposite directions. Right arm pushing strong, left arm reaching tall. Inhale, take your left arm over your head. Get a little longer on that left side. Exhale, hide your left arm behind your back. Palm faces outward away from your body. Let's do that twice more. Find a rhythm with your breath. Inhale, reach. Exhale, tuck behind. One more. Find neutral, plank, down dog, or child's pose, your choice. Just a handful of breaths here. Reground your left knee. We're going to set up that modified side plank the other direction. Be firm in your foundation. Left palm, fingertips, left shoulder. Right leg is a kickstand. Right arm high. Inhale, reaching overhead. Big stretch. Exhale. Half wrap behind your back. We know we have two more. Take it at your own pace. Final repetition like this. And then we have our choices. Plank, child's pose, downward facing dog. Lift your heels in your down dog and then set them back down. Child's pose, come on up, downward facing dog. And then take a trip towards the front of your mat, nice and slow. There's no rush. We'll set the feet for chair pose. Decide if you want them together or maybe just a little wider, like hip width. Find a moderate squat, take your arms out in front of you. Press your hands together near your heart, just like we did earlier. Intentionally press your palms together, so you're going to feel a little work in the chest here. Keep your right leg in chair pose. Bring your left heel towards your bottom. Can you sit down and back even more and deepen your hip creases? Be heavy in your right heel, but light in your toes. Step back with your left toes, crescent lunge. Arms can come out front or overhead, your preference. As you start to straighten your front leg, bend your back knee and try to stack shoulders over hips. Press down with your right foot like you're pushing on a gas pedal. Rebend your front leg and straighten your back leg. Crescent. 2 more times like that. Legs are kind of doing this really slow, strong scissor. 1 more time. Find your crescent lunge position. Take your arms behind you like wings. Lean forward a little bit more. Let's take a balance on our right leg. Push down intentionally through your right heel so that your left leg can get a little lighter. And then your arms can come out like wings on an airplane. They could reach overhead for a little more challenge. Or we could find that heart-centered hand position. Warrior 3. Step your left foot forward and rise all the way to stand. Take your arms overhead, breathe in. Exhale, hinge at your hips and fold over your thighs. You have some time here. You can enjoy this forward fold. If you like Vinyasa yoga, you could take it through your version of that flow. Plank, maybe some sort of a push-up there, an upward dog or a cobra, downward dog, and then finally transitioning back to your forward fold where we'll all meet up for our next chair pose. Find the work in your legs, your seat, your heels. Let the toes be light. Hands near your heart. Press firmly. Feel the chest fire up. Put a little more of your weight in your left foot. Pull your right heel up towards your bottom. Feel the work in your right hamstrings to keep your heel pulling upwards. And then step it back nice and slow. We have our crescent lunge. Where do you want your arms? Maybe it's different from last time. Let's see if we can find that scissor switch. Back leg bends, shoulders stack over hips. Gas pedal your left foot as you straighten your left leg. And switch. Really enjoy the transition between these 2 positions so that there's no end or beginning. There's just a little dance of the legs. Last one. Return to the lunge position. Hinge forward in your trunk. Arms can go out to the sides or behind you like wings. Reconnect to your strong foundation on your left leg and let's balance. Warrior 3, any version that appeals to you today. You could reach through your right toes or your right heel. Visualize balancing your pelvis. Level to the horizon. And then step your right foot forward nice and slow. Return to standing. Inhale, raise your arms. Exhale, fold over your thighs. Plant your palms down. Step back to a plank position. Let your heels swivel to the right. Set your left heel in front of your right toes. Side plank, or you can bring your right knee down again. Inhale, arm overhead. Exhale, hide it behind your back. Let's just do 1 more on this round. Left hand makes the plank. Now we go the other way. Heels spin left, toes point to the right. Side plank left, right arm reaches on the inhale. Exhale, spin it behind you. Can your legs be any more supportive here? Even do this pose with your feet. Last time. And then as we come back to plank, you have those same choices as before. You could just maybe take a little rest, head straight to your down dog, or you're gonna slowly hover and pull that strong plank all the way to the floor. Untuck your toes, pull your heart up and forward, Strong cobra from the back side, and then all the way down. Tuck your toes and push yourself back to child's pose. Take a little rest. One more breath. Okay, so we're going to practice a variation of pigeon pose today. That might be a little bit different than what you're used to. If pigeon doesn't work for your knees, what you can do is just lay on your back and do the figure 4 stretch, threading the needle. But if pigeon works for you, let's come up onto the fingertips. Bring the right knee towards the right wrist. Keep your right heel pretty close to your left thigh for today. And then you can inch your left leg back a little bit and let your hips get just a little closer to the ground, but scissor your legs together as if you were trying to pull your pelvis away from the floor. Bring your left forearm towards the floor so that it's parallel to the front of your mat. Right arm's just going to come out to the side like a wing, and we're going to use our breath once again. Inhale to turn open to the right. And then exhale, float it back down. Use your left shoulder to help your chest open. Feel your left elbow pulling backwards. And then we have one more like that. As you return to neutral, walk your hands back out in front of you, lift your sternum, tuck your back toes, and lift your left knee off the ground. And we're going to open up to the long side of our mat. So come onto your right hip first, and then set your left seat down. We're going to work the legs into the separate leg stretch. Left leg will stay extended, and then we'll side bend over that left leg. Intentionally opening this right thigh and stretching through the sides. Right side ribs getting a little love, breathing into the left ribs and the right ribs. Take one more breath. And then as you rise up, plant your right hand beside your body, maybe about a foot away. We're going to ground through the top of the right foot, right shin, right knee, and lift our hips off the ground as the left arm reaches high. And then set yourself back down. Let's butterfly the legs. Soles of the feet meet in the middle of the mat. Find your sitting bones. Use your hip muscles first to pull your legs away from each other. And then if you'd like a little more, you can use your arms and create a bit of a hip hinge. Sometimes it feels real nice to squeeze our legs back into our arms just a little bit as we use our arms as gentle pressure outward into the legs. All right, let's arrange ourselves back into a downward dog before we do the other side. However you want to get there works for me. Give the backs of your thighs a little stretch. Guide your hips up and away from your fingertips, creating more space in the length of your spine. Left leg will build that pigeon. This is not about range of motion here. Let's just be real conservative. When you start to feel that your body is stretching and responding to the shape, that's a good place to stop. Right forearm's going to come down. Left fingertips off to the side. Establish a relationship between this movement of opening on your inhale, pulling with your right arm, and exhale on rotating. We have a couple more. Find that gentle leg scissors to support your hips in this shape. Find that neutral position, press up onto your palms, tuck your back toes, and try to lift your right knee off the ground as you lift your chest. Thinking of a little bit of a back bend here in this pose. And then we're just going to rock open on the bum. Arms can come out to a T first, and we'll side bend over the left leg. Left arm reaching. They don't have to touch the toes. Not really that important. Your body knows when to stop. Use the strength in your left hip to move that left knee a little bit closer to the ground. Breathe into the sides of your body. And then we're going to neutralize one more time, either a child's pose or your downward dog. Your transition next will be to come down onto your seat and then onto your back. And then after you land, let's pull the legs into our chest, as if you were creating a little cannonball shape with your body. You can hold the front of your shins, or you can hold the backs of your thighs. Option to even start to lift head and shoulders, bringing your forehead closer to your knees. Reverse out of the cannonball. Head and shoulders soft, arms by your sides, feet planted. Send your feet wide, maybe even off of your mat. Let your knees rest together. Take it easy. Let your breathing relax. A more resting breath, without a whole lot of intention to breathe a certain way. Trust that your body knows how to breathe. You could close your eyes here. As you're laying here on your back, notice if when you inhale, you're getting a lot of movement up front. And intentionally try to create some more expansion in the back and in the sides. Soft jaws. And smooth out your forehead. Let your knees move apart. We're going to keep our feet wide like this and introduce some rotation of our thighs. It feels a little bit like windshield wipers. As you rock the left leg open, you're going to come onto the outside edge of your left foot and the inner arch of your right foot, and vice versa. See if you can do this movement just in your legs and keep your pelvis level. Sometimes I even like to take my hands there, just as a reminder. Now let's find a position that feels like recovery or rest. That might mean you stretch all the way out into Shavasana. You could keep your knees bent like I am. You could lay on your side or your stomach. Or you could even come up and take a meditation seat. Give yourself permission to let go and relax, and be still. With your eyes closed, visualize your body in this state of rest. Observe your thoughts and your simple breath. Acknowledge any emotions that you're experiencing right now. See if you can draw back a little bit and be the witness without adding to the story. Count the length of your inhale. And aim to make your exhale just a bit longer. Stay in this final resting pose for as long as you need or want to do. I'd like to thank you for practicing with me, taking care of yourself. I hope to see you in person again soon. Namaste.